What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of another Triple Threats podcast. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. I know this is a little bit of a different format for you guys. You guys are so much closer to my face, and it's just different. But today we have a very, very special guest coming straight from Cinderella, Aladdin, TikTok, is in Diana on Broadway. We have Nathan Lucrezio in the house joining us today for episode 6. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm keeping busy, which is
Good.
good. And we see that you are doing the same. You're on TikTok and everything like that. Instagram, doing the singing, the covers. We saw your driver's license with
Oh, thank
Rodrigo,
you.
and it was great. It's crazy how you can do that. So many different. But anybody who doesn't know Nathan, he's such a talented guy. He's done 3 Broadway shows. He's Cinderella on Broadway, Aladdin, and then now Diana on Broadway, which unfortunately got shut down due to the pandemic. But it is going to be on Netflix.
It
So
is.
that is awesome. But let's talk a little bit about where you came from. You grew up in upstate New York, right?
It did. Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
So I grew up in a very small town, very close to Albany and Saratoga Springs. Um, I don't. It was a great upbringing. I come from a very big family, very close family. My mom and my dad met singing together. My mom auditioned for my dad's band, so that's how it
Wow.
started. And there's 4 of us kids. All of us are in the arts. 2 of my sisters used to dance. Now one of them does music full time. My other sister has a dance company and is an artist. And my brother works at a radio station. And then I like to say I do it all. It all
So
just
you
like
guys are just all around the talented family.
we are. Yes, we are. One click away from the Von Trapps, I think. Yeah. So I grew up watching theater. My sisters used to do all of the plays. They did West Side Story when I was in 3rd grade, and that was it. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And so from then on, I just got involved. I started doing. They had a tap ensemble, so I started to tap when I was really young. And then I got into Irish dance
I
because
was gonna say,
Riverdance.
how'd you get into that?
Yeah, Riverdance and Lord of the Dance were released around 1996. So I was like 9 years
Okay.
old when it came out, and I saw it and I thought that's what I want to do. So I started taking lessons and started doing that for about 10 years. And I
Wow.
competed everywhere. I did local competitions, national competitions, international competitions while I was doing theater on the side and also
Hmm.
singing. And I also was like filming myself. So I was doing videography then.
Hmm.
Um, Before we had phones, we had to use a big camera on our shoulder. And I was joking with some friends the other night that if you wanted to edit something, you had to record the TV with the VHS camcorder and then
Yeah,
on a tape, and then you'd have to tape it to get. It was just like the
that's crazy. The way
now is
things have
crazy.
evolved.
Yeah, it's
I
evolved
mean,
quite a lot.
now you can just go like this and just take a video and just insert the clip. So,
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
so
awesome.
you grew up doing theater, and did you ever have the hopes for Broadway as a kid? Did you go see Broadway shows a lot, being that you were not close to the city, but you were still, you weren't in like LA to where
Yeah.
there was like tours and stuff.
Yeah, no, oh my goodness. I did so much of my own stuff at home because we didn't have access to Broadway. We didn't have access to a huge theater.
Mm.
So when the Tony Awards happened, that was every single year, and we only had 3 channels. So like you were only, what's the word? You only saw, what was available at the time. And the Tony Awards were the thing that I looked forward to the most. So I would watch those performances. I would perform them back and learn the choreography. And that's when I knew, oh, I want to do this when I'm older and it's in New York City. Hey, I'm 20 minutes, not 20 minutes. I'm now I'm 20 minutes away from Midtown, but I'm 3.5 hours away. Oh, mom and dad, like we can go and do this. So I think the first show I saw was Annie Get Your Gun with Brenda Peters and Tom Wopat. We
That's a
wanted
big
to go.
first one.
Yeah, we wanted to go see Your Good Man, Charlie Brown with Kristen Chenoweth, but it closed before we could actually see it. So
Ah.
that season, that was like 1999. That's when I realized, oh, this is, you can make a living doing this. You know,
Mhm.
people, there's ensemble members, and I wanted to do it all. You know, I wanted
Right.
to sing, dance, and act. I didn't just want to do one of the
You
three.
wanted to
I wanted
be
to do
the
all three. So musical
triple
theater
threat.
was sort of the only option to be able
Right.
to do all that.
Yeah, because you can be yourself. You can be the triple threat that you are,
Exactly.
which is what this is all about. But then, so you did theater throughout elementary school, throughout middle school, throughout high school at your community theater and stuff.
Yeah. So the community theater we had was Fort Salem Theater, and that was the first theater I like was paid at, like was under equity work, you could say.
Oh.
It was non-union at the time, you know, they only had like certain contracts, but
Hmm.
um, we did what was it, Gypsy. That was like my first
Okay.
professional gig between junior and senior year. Um, and then I went to Penn State
Penn
for musical
State.
theater.
Right. So you went to Penn State for musical theater. Now, how did you, get an agent to be able to book Broadway, or were you just auditioning for Broadway solo? Or was there agents that came to like a showcase? In the last episode with Kayla Davion, she was telling us how she went to these showcases in college and the agents came and they were scouting people. Was that the same for you at Penn
Yes,
State?
that was the same for me. So we had a showcase in June, I think. I'm gonna get some light on my face.
Sure.
June of, or was it May? It was May. It was like right when school was ending. We
Okay.
went to the city and
Senior
sat
year, junior
in a
year.
row.
Senior year or junior
This was
year?
senior year of
Okay.
college. We went to Theater Row. We performed for a bunch of agents, casting directors. We had a talk back with Rachel Hoffman. We went to Telsey at
Right.
that time, their old office, and she sat us down and talked to us. I had a bunch of agents that were interested in me, and I met with some of them. And I was going to sign with one, but after sort of going back and forth with them, they said, actually, Nathan, we're going to go in a different direction. And I was kind of like, oh, gosh, okay. So I didn't have a bad taste in my mouth. I just thought, I don't know if I need an agent right now because I had so much energy and so much wherewithal. I didn't trust just letting somebody submit me. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go to the
Know
thing.
yourself.
So, which maybe wasn't like, it's different for everybody. You know, you can either choose to have somebody do it who knows how to brand you, who knows how to market you, and they can get you work. Or if you're like, no, I kind of know what I want to do, I'm going to do it myself so that I don't have to pay that commission. Because at the end of the day, you have to pay a commission to your agents.
Right.
It's up to you. So I went to every single non-union audition. I did background work for television and film.
Well, you were
I
in Smash,
I was in Smash. That was about
so
2 years later. But before I got to Smash, I had like 4 months of just intense auditioning, and then I did a chorus line, the national tour. So that was my first big break, and that's when I was like, wow. I mean, I kind of feel like I peaked early because you got to do everything. That's the one show I know of where you have to do everything perfectly. You have to be a singer, dancer, actor, and especially with Michael Bennett's choreography.
and people
And
have seen the show, so they're expecting something.
exactly. Yeah.
So
So it was incredible to do that, and that's when I got my equity card. But it wasn't until a few years later when I got my start on Broadway that I got an agent, a theatrical agent that was also a TV and film agent. But when Smash happened, I was freelancing with an agent from a friend, and she randomly got me in for it, and then, or you know what? It was a combination of many things. Josh Bergas was the choreographer on that show, and I used to take his class all the time at Broadway Dance Center. And I
okay.
also knew Telsey; they knew who I was, so they
Uh-huh.
kind of put two and two together. And they needed somebody that could fit the part, and they thought of me. And it was the quickest job I ever got. I literally
That's
walked in, I
so
didn't go
fun.
to the dance audition. I said the line because I needed to say a line to be a waiter in the scene before the big Bollywood dance number, and I was in the front, and I was just besides myself. I'm very thankful to Josh and Telsey for giving me that opportunity.
Right. Shout out to them.
Great. It was fantastic.
So, so you didn't actually have to essentially go through a series of auditions for the show, like I imagine a lot of other people had to.
Yeah, I don't know why for Smash. I think because they were looking for somebody so specific. They were
Uh-huh.
looking for somebody that could fit the kind of Bollywood feel,
Okay.
and there were a lot of dancers at that time that were kind of doing a bunch of different Broadway shows, and they were doing things. So it's always kind of tricky to find, the best of the best that aren't either already booked. And I happened to not be booked, and they thought of me, and I literally didn't have to audition, but I had been auditioning, you could say,
Right, the whole time.
for a couple years, because I've been taking his class consistently because I just loved his movement. So sometimes you don't have to audition, but when I auditioned for Cinderella and Aladdin, I think I went through about 11 or 12 auditions before I actually got the job.
Wow. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you did not go directly from Smash to Cinderella on Broadway being your Broadway debut.
No,
right?
not at all. I think Smash was, I think it was 2011, maybe 2012. I can't remember the exact year, but I came to the city in 2009. I joined Chorus Line later that year, came back to the city in 2010, and didn't work in a consistent theater job for about 3 years. So in that 3-year period, I was doing a bunch of freelance work. I was catering. I was working I was an assistant to a catering company. Like, I was doing anything to keep my feet on the ground. I was teaching dance, doing all this stuff. So when Smash happened, that was amazing. But it wasn't until another year and a half until I got my Broadway debut in Cinderella.
Right. So tell us, so did your agent book you those auditions, or was that something that you did by yourself?
So the thing about Cinderella, I went by myself to that. I consistently went.
Was it like an open call?
Yeah. So at that time, I still am. I was equity. And when you're an equity performer, you can go to the auditions. You can go to whatever ECCs they have. So they have dancer calls, they have singer calls, they have equity principal auditions. And this was before they would, make you sign up on their portal. You had to go there and sign up. They didn't have that, access then. But I went to some audition I wrote with my friend, and got through, kept getting through until the end. And I was in callbacks for the original Broadway cast, but I just didn't fit in with the original Broadway cast at that time. So I didn't get the show. I thought I was going to. I was really bummed. And then it was another 8-9 months before I actually got in. And in that intermittent time, I went in again to audition for, I think I went into audition all over again at one point, and then I went into audition for the principal roles to cover them. I did it all myself. There was no agents to be had for that show.
Right. That's incredible. How you worked your way, how you got rejected first, and then worked your way right back up into.
I said, you're gonna get me. You're gonna put me in there.
So you did Cinderella for quite the bit.
Yeah.
You were with some. This is a picture of you in.
Oh my gosh! That is me. The funny story is that's not a costume that I normally wore. I had to wear that costume for one night when we were down so many people. We had a cut show that I had to do something in the show that I don't normally do, and they said, "Wear this costume," and I was obsessed with it. So
what did you have to
look at the embroidery on that thing? It's amazing.
Look at the hat.
I love the hat. That was the Herald's hat.
So wait, tell us a little bit about that. What happened with the show? Just people were called out?
Yeah, so normally with a cut show, that means either people were sick or injuries, and it just so happened that on that day, we didn't have enough men to do everything that is normally done. And that happens pretty consistently, I would say, especially with big shows where there's a lot of ensemble members and there's a lot happening. And when you have a limited amount of swings that they cover like 12 parts. There's 2 men that cover 12 ensemble men tracks, or 2 women that cover 8, 9 ensemble women tracks, which was the breakdown in our show. So whenever that happens, inevitably things are going to happen when you're doing a show every single day, 8 shows a week. It would happen, and I had to move the horses in the fairy godmother scene when she turned Cinderella into a princess. I had to come in and move the horses, which I was terrified to do, but I did it. And that was my costume. So those are always fun nights because it changes it up, gets you out of
Right.
doing the same thing every night.
Exactly. You get to do something different. So you were the understudy, I'm going to say this wrong, to Lord Pinkleton.
That's right.
Okay. And then John, is it Jean or John?
Jean-Michel.
John. Oh, okay. I was going to say Michael.
It's like Jean. I think it's French. Jean-Michel.
Yeah, Jean Michel. So you were the understudy to them, and then you were also an ensemble member
Yes.
um, in the show. So did you ever go on for those roles?
I did. I went on a few times. It was so much fun. My principal debut
Right.
on
That's what I was
Broadway
going to
was
ask.
playing Lord Pinkleton. And the crazy story about that is we had this whole beginning sequence where there was a tree monster, which I actually did for 5.5 months. I was a tree monster because the person got injured, and that's how I got into the show. And that's a whole other story. Maybe we can get to that. But
Okay.
I had already transitioned from that track into a different track, which covered Jean-Michel and Lord Pinkleton. And it just so happened that they were changing the whole beginning of the show as well. And the night that I went on was when they made the change. So we were kind of like in tech that afternoon, teching the show. And I felt like, wow, this is crazy. I feel like I'm teching a new show, and I get to
Right.
go on and make my
Developing it.
debut. And I was terrified. I was scared because I had to sing "He's Giving a Ball," like this huge note that's right on my break, in front of the whole on Broadway. And
On
I'll
Broadway.
never forget, I nailed it, and people were so happy. I was so happy. It was incredible. So I'll always cherish that night.
Right. Now, was your family able to come down and see you in your principal debut?
They didn't come that night, but they did come and see me as Jean-Michel, and they came to see me in one of my ensemble tracks. So
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
awesome.
While you were in the show, there were some star people in the show.
There were.
Here's you with Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yep.
I mean,
It's Carly
how
Rae.
and at that time she was huge.
Yeah.
She just had like the Call Me Maybe thing going on. So how was it having so many people come to the show at one time?
Yeah. Um, I went from wanting to be on Broadway, not thinking it was ever going to happen because I was getting really discouraged, to being on Broadway and then literally working with celebrities every single week.
Exactly.
And it was, I think about that time and I'm filled with joy and happiness. The company was amazing. The cast was great. And when Carly came into the show, I remember we were all excited because it's the Call Me Maybe girl. And, we know why they're doing it. And we weren't uninformed. They were doing it because our show needed some star power to keep open. That's just what happens. It's the nature of the beast every now and then. We can't all be Hamilton or Wicked. That's just the truth. But she came in and her voice was just haunting and like gorgeous, and it sat well. And her chemistry with Joe, who was the prince, was just wonderful. And she had a very natural charisma on stage. So to work with her, and then also to work with Fran Drescher, who I was, such a big fan of. I still am a big fan of her, and obviously The Nanny, and watching how she worked, and then getting to work with Keke Palmer and Nene Leakes and Terry Shepard, and then we had Broadway legends, Judy Kay and Nancy Opal, like all of these people coming in. And I'm so young. I'm 25, 26, which you're a baby on Broadway at 25, 26. And you thought that being 19 and 20, that's like infant when you're on Broadway. But I was just like, wow, I'm surrounded by this incredible talent, and I'm taking notes. And I literally got to go on stage opposite Victoria Clark, Broadway legend Victoria Clark.
Yeah.
And I remember having a scene with her, and she's just like looking in my face. And I think I forgot my line. I literally went into the white
starstruck
because I was just like, But no, I don't know what to say. They're normal people, and they're just fun to be around, and it's just a different lifestyle that they bring with them. But everybody was so gracious and so giving in that cast.
Yeah. So when these big stars like that are known by just not the Broadway community, would come into the shows. How crazy was stage door?
How crazy was stage door? Well, I'm trying to think because it would vary. And it's been a little while since Cinderella, so I'm trying to
Oh
remember.
yeah.
Um, I don't ever remember like the stage door being like when Daniel Radcliffe was in How to Succeed.
Okay.
That
I know
was
what you mean.
insane. Though that's a different type of. I don't know what that is.
That's like, do you know when Colleen Ballinger and Todrick Hall were
Yes,
in
yes,
Waitress, there was just floods and floods of people
yes, yes,
everywhere because
yes.
Colleen and Todrick are big on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There were times when yes, there were a lot of people, but to be honest, at that point, I was just like, I'm leaving. I would do the show and I'd be like, all right, I'm gone, I'm getting out. Or I would stay so late because I would have tours that I never actually got to go out and see it. But
Sign.
I've
Yeah.
had groups at, this is when you know you're getting older because you're like, what was it like? There were so many groups that would come to Aladdin and then would go to the stage door and just cheer us on, and they would know who I was because I taught their class that morning, and that just made me always feel amazing. And
Hmm.
sometimes they were crazy; they were just go crazy. But everybody was pretty like low. I would say I never saw anything crazy at the stage door. I just saw a lot of people very gracious, and whenever I've signed, they were always very sweet. And
As they should.
yeah, and I was excited to see what would have happened with Diana, but we didn't get to that point. But the people that did come were, we were starting to get those fans, and then obviously things shut down. So
Things, yeah. Um, so yeah, as they should be respectful of that because it's not the actor's job. They do it if they want to, and you know, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at what point did you leave Cinderella? And during Cinderella, were you just constantly auditioning?
Yes, so I left Cinderella when we closed. We closed
Oh,
in
you closed with them.
yes, so it
Oh, I
was
didn't know that.
January 15th. No,
Okay.
January 3rd or something of 2015.
Okay.
The very end. I went to the very
Hmm.
end, and then when it closed, I had another opportunity. I went to go be in The Man of La Mancha
Oh,
at
yes.
Shakespeare Theater Company.
So then, when you were in that, you you just what's the word I'm looking for? Like you said, we're always auditioning. So did somebody that came to that show was like, would you come and be in Aladdin, or did you have to go and audition for Aladdin by yourself?
Oh, so yeah, so with Aladdin, I mean,
Mhm.
I had to audition. I went to the well, okay. So when Cinderella and Aladdin were happening, it was happening at the same time. So I was auditioning for them both in 2013, the winter of 2013. And then obviously nothing happened. And then Cinderella did come to fruition.
Uh huh.
Aladdin took about a year and a half of just going to, whenever they had an open call, they saw me for Aladdin. They saw me for Kasim. They saw me for Omar. I think no, did they see me for? I don't even know. They saw me for everything. And eventually there was a track that just opened up, and they called me and said, "Hey, you're in."
There you
And so
go.
I went and I tried on the costumes, and they all fit, sort of. And then and then I was in the show.
That's crazy. How? When did Aladdin open? Was it 2017?
It was 2014.
Oh my God, are you crazy? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
I am crazy, and yes,
Makes me feel old.
very
That was my second Broadway show. I was in like fourth grade.
wow.
So yeah, it feels like such a long time ago, but like I still have
Oh, you
the
got the show, hey!
yeah. They were in that
Love it.
showbill stage, which I've always been confused about. Do you know anything about that? Why is it showbill and not playbill?
Oh, there is a reason, and I completely forget. I think it's because it's Disney, A. So Disney has
Okay.
their own thing. Um, but I don't know the full story. I completely forget. But there is definitely a specific reason why.
Right. So now, when you were little, did you watch the Aladdin movie?
I did. I was obsessed with it.
You've already been a big fan of Aladdin at the point.
Yes, I love Aladdin. I loved it. I even liked
Yeah.
the new animation with Will Smith. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was good.
I
I
enjoyed it.
I liked it. I saw it in the movie theaters when
Hmm.
it first came out. So yeah, I thought it was good. But yeah, so then you went to Aladdin on Broadway. We have a this is you here
That's me.
in Aladdin. There you go again.
Gosh.
That's a picture.
Yeah. Just giving you all of the feels, right? Just pure smoke.
So now tell us a little about what you did, what tracks you covered and
Hmm.
understudied and yeah.
Yeah. When I joined Aladdin, I was in the ensemble as a dancer,
Yep.
and I replaced my friend Bobby Pesca. He originated the track because he left to go do King and I. And so I got in the show. I was so excited. And then about a year went by, and they asked me to cover the role of Kasim, which is
Okay.
Aladdin's best friend.
Yes.
And I had really wanted that. I really was like, I know I'm right for this part. I know that this is good for me. And so they finally gave me the opportunity to do it. Um, and then I ended up covering Razul, which was the head guard. That kind of came out of nowhere. And then I switched tracks after I went to go do Diana at La Jolla Playhouse. We did an out of town
Yes, and
tryout.
yes.
I came
Mm-hmm.
back to the show, but I didn't come back to the show in my original track. I came back to the show in a new track because I wanted to switch into something not as dance heavy because I had been doing. There it is. Because I
There it
had been
is.
doing it for so long, and my body was like, "All right, it's time to do something new."
And if anybody who hasn't seen the show, there's so many different varieties of dance. Like it's not just one type of dance. And you, my friend, do so many different varieties of dance. There was a feature of you on GMA.
Yes.
Um, you were like dancing to Beyonce, then you were doing Irish step, then you were doing tap, then you were doing jazz. It was you. Anybody who hasn't checked it out, go check it out. It's on YouTube,
So
and
sweet.
it's yeah, that was great. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. No.
so
I mean, there were, and that was what Aladdin was. There were so many different
mhm.
types of dancing and things we had to do. And friend like me, we did tap dance, we did partner dance, we did Broadway jazz, all in one thing.
Yeah,
So yeah, I had a great
that's a
time.
big
And then
number.
when I switched to being a singer track and more one of the character tracks, I was happy. After 3 years, 3.5 years of doing the same thing, I was like, all right, let's do something different.
Switch
But
it
I
up.
still get to be in the show. So
Right. So were you a dancer first or a singer first? Or both? Because you said you
that's such a hard question because I don't even know. I was singing and dancing at the same time. I think dance was something I was more well, I mean, I always sang because of musical
okay.
theater, but I
Right.
really mostly I danced as a young
Okay.
kid. Like I would just want to get away and dance.
Because I know with a lot of people like some people like me, I'm more of a strong singer than I am a dancer.
Hmm.
So I guess that's what I mean in the sense of were
Yeah.
you a dancer first? So have you always
Yeah.
been
It's hard. I think if I asked friends about like what I'm strongest at, they would all have a different answer. So I think
mhm.
it is pretty equal. My dancing and singing is
And
on
that's
the same
good.
level.
That's
And
good to have.
yeah, and my acting was, I was a very dramatic kid. I will say that, but I didn't understand acting. And I think that I don't know. I get it now. I'm a very good actor now, but
Yeah.
ooh, I still have a long way to go as far as that because acting is you're always changing, you're growing. Same thing with dancing and singing. Your body is always changing. I can move better
You're
now
always learning.
than I can that I didn't used to. I can sing better now than I used to, but not do some of the things I used to do. So it's an ever changing, evolving thing.
Right. What is it called? The revolving door.
Yeah, the revolving door of talent.
Exactly. So now, is Aladdin where you met Catherine Nelson?
It is.
Because you guys have some amazing covers. So if you guys don't know, Nathan has a whole cover album out
I
um,
do.
with so many different people. You have your own little band, if I'm not mistaken. So here and there. So you guys have you guys have a couple covers on there. I know the one that you did with Catherine was Tori Kelly, which is
Mhm.
phenomenal. Go check it out on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's really good. So was that your first time, sort of experiencing recording an album that wasn't, a cast album or like a mini concert series or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I'd actually I started doing recording when I was young. I sort of did my own recording, but
Right.
I didn't pursue it when I went to college. I would do my own projects on the side, but I never was pursuing being a recording artist until I
Uh-huh.
moved to the city. And then one of the reasons why I kind of stopped, well, I should say this. The reason why I was in the city for 3 years and didn't work outside the city and didn't do equity work was because I really wanted to be a pop artist. So I was really
Okay.
focusing on that. And I have two singles that I created. One was called Crazy Girl and one was called Walk Out the Door. And I put that out there and it was really fun. It was my first time doing music videos, doing my own thing. Now I look back on it and it doesn't really reflect who I am,
Mm-hmm.
now, but it was fun at the time and I still think the tracks are great. Not a lot of people heard them, but some people did. And then when I got into Aladdin, I thought, I've always wanted to do my own sort of YouTube, kind of like Kurt Hugo Schneider. I don't know if you know who he is, or um, any of these YouTube artists that basically just do covers and they
Right.
make a living
Yeah.
from that. So I started going down that path, and Angelo Soriano and Jazz Seeley, who were in Aladdin, we just used to jam all the time. And I said, guys, we should start recording, and yeah, so I did that, and I had a series. I think I had like 10 videos that I did, but then I kind of got just busy with life and things happened, and then I turned 30, and that was exciting, and I had all these opportunities happening, and then Diana came and I was doing the carousel lab, so I didn't have the kind of time to give
Right.
to like creating my own YouTube, because that's a full-time job to come up with
Yeah.
covers and music every single week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Keep it up.
now, this past year, uh, I've learned how to do a lot of that stuff myself now, especially with this, the software has just been
Mm-hmm.
incredible. The technology is incredible. So I'm sort of my own band right now and doing all my own things and collaborating with friends. But at the time, I didn't know how to mix a song. I didn't know how to master a song. Angelo was the guy that had all the equipment, all the recording equipment. So I would always go to him. And yeah, we were a little bit of a band, and Catherine and I sang and did concerts
Yeah.
together. But now we're all sort of in different places and doing our own thing. And I hope at some time we can collaborate again together. But I have a single coming out this year, which is a cover of Sam Smith and Rihanna's Diamonds, and it's going to be
Oh.
really good. And I'm excited for people to hear it. And it's all done by me, so it's the first time that I'm doing something completely by myself. But that's sort of the I feel like that's the pandemic time. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Right. So, have you been writing any of your own music during the pandemic?
Yeah, so I have dabbled in writing. I wrote a one-man show back in 2011, very long time ago, and I did it at the Here Art Center. And I started collaborating with a friend this past year on a musical version of sort of that. Um, so yeah, I've dabbled in writing. But it's hard. There's a lot of things I'd like
Yeah.
to do, and I know I'm very, very good at sort of taking work that already exists and making it my own stamp.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made my money or made my living from songwriting, and maybe that will happen in the future. But it's something I sort of do for fun,
Yeah.
and collab with friends.
So, yeah. I mean, same here, but it's
Good.
just for fun.
Yeah.
Um, so you gotten the opportunity to do any auditions during the pandemic as well? Because I know a lot of people are just auditioning for TV shows and things that can still go on because Broadway is still shut down.
Yeah, I've had a handful of auditions. I actually just did The Equalizer, which
Oh,
is Queen
yeah.
Latifah's show,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be in one of the episodes. I play a manager, which will
Oh,
be
nice.
exciting. I have a little scene with
Congratulations.
the co-star. Thank you. So it was very fun. It was nice to be on set. We did the Netflix taping
Yes, the
with Diane,
filming.
which was great, and I did a commercial spot for Anderson Cooper, so that was
Nice.
fun. So yeah, I've actually had some great opportunities,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of auditions that I didn't think I would have, considering we're in a pandemic. But I'm
Right.
happy that things are continuing on.
So let's talk a little bit about Diana. So you booked Diana. Um, you guys did pre-Broadway, and then you guys moved to Broadway. And
Mm-hmm.
this was like what, like
This
no.
was January of last year.
January? Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you were, doing your rehearsals for Broadway and previews and everything. You got to do a couple previews, right?
Yes, we did 9 previews.
Okay. And then your opening date was supposed to be March 31st.
It was.
And that's so the to me the world shut down like March 14th, St. Patrick's Day. Was kind of when, everybody was told to stay inside. I actually just saw a picture from my Snapchat memories of us going grocery shopping on the 17th with no
Uh-huh.
masks. And I was like, what is this?
Right? A day without, a life without masks. What was
I
that?
know. I don't even, yeah. So you were in the ensemble and you also were Andrew Morton. So
Mhm.
you got to originate a role on Broadway.
I
Was
did.
that something you always like dreamed of?
Yes, it
And
sure was.
how was that? How was the rehearsal
Oh
process,
my goodness.
developing the character?
Yeah. Well, getting to develop the character at La Jolla was, I had such a great time. And La Jolla's
Hmm.
in San Diego, if nobody knows that, La Jolla
Hmm.
Playhouse. Um, it
To be
was
honest,
such
I
a
thought it
good
was
time, and we didn't know what the show was at all. So I kind of loved that. I had no preconceived notions. It was just, they didn't give us the script or anything. Oh, look, there's a script.
there's a
Um,
script.
they literally didn't, they did not give it to us until we got there first day. And then we read
Oh,
through it. I
wow.
read through my scene, um, which I had an idea of in the, auditioning for it. But yeah, and then getting to build it, and it just really felt good for me. Like the part just sat well with me. Um, and then I got to meet Andrew Morton, actual Andrew Morton. He came to see the show and we talked and we kept in contact. And then I went to London after I found out that I actually was going to do the Broadway production because,
Right. Hmm.
a lot of people know you do an out of town tryout and sometimes they'll cast you, sometimes they won't. And I think that there were
Very
a few
true.
people that did not come along with us to Broadway. They're all fantastic. It just didn't work out. But
And I
I
mean,
was scared I was going to be one of those people, but I made it through. And
yeah.
yeah, it was. We had done a workshop that following summer. We did another workshop in December, and then we were in Broadway rehearsals in January. And then the shutdown happened, and then we did another. We did a Zoom developmental lab in June of last year, and then we did Netflix. So I feel like this show, and especially that part, I've been like working my butt off for that
And
original
it's
Broadway
still it
credit.
still comes back to you.
So
It
it's
still
gonna.
comes back to you. Yeah. And you mentioned not moving on with the Broadway production, and Jenna DeWall had that exact experience with Waitress the musical. She did not move on with Waitress. She was uh Dawn in the out of
Mhm.
town tryout at ART, and then she didn't move on with the Broadway production. But in this case, she did, and now she was starring as
Yeah,
Diana
yeah,
on Broadway.
yeah. I mean, I did the lab of Carousel, and they had asked me to learn the choreography to one of the lead dancers, and then I never went. I
Never.
kind of knew. I kind of had a feeling. I was like, this is great. I don't think this is for me right now, but I mean, I got to be in the room with Justin Peck and all these amazing people. So that does happen. You'll
Yeah.
do readings and you'll do things, and you're there for that specific thing, and then that's it. So.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you know how, but how did Netflix come about into the Diana world? How was that developed, and like how long did the process take
Yeah, so
to
I
get
think when the
approval and stuff?
shutdown happened, there was, I don't know obviously all the details. I'm just
No, yeah.
cast members, but I think that there was an idea from our producers. They thought, this is a good idea. Let's do it. Can we do it? Let's
Right.
try. So, we had a lot of conversations. There was a lot of talk back and forth between us and our unions and the producers.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Obviously, how are you going to do this in a pandemic? But they pulled it off. We and we did it, and I can tell you, it's going to be great. Like, I can't wait for people to see
So how was the process of that? Were you guys getting COVID tested every single day? Like, how did that
Well,
was
I'm
like,
not, I can't talk about it, to be honest.
okay,
We're not allowed to until,
it comes
things
out.
happen, which I can't wait to talk about. But we were very, very safe,
Right.
So everything that you would think you'd have to do, and you could think it's like a TV and film, whatever they're doing for TV and film, which is they test all the time. It's very on par with what we were doing.
Okay.
And it was early, in the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was only 6 months
Hmm.
after. I say only 6 months, but I think we were the first show to do that in
Well,
New York City.
you guys were like the only theater that had like the lights pumping and
Yeah,
stuff, probably because everything else was shut down.
yeah,
And I mean, while you guys were kind of, filming that, a little bit after that, all these musicals started coming on, Netflix, and Hamilton came out on Disney Plus, The Prom came on Netflix, and then it was announced that Diana would be coming to Netflix, and obviously everybody was excited about that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So during the pandemic, you also picked up cooking, or were you
I
always cooking?
did. I mean, I've always cooked. There I am. I've always cooked. I always cook the same things over and over again. I cook with what I'm comfortable with and what I know is healthy for my body. Um,
Oh, healthy. I was
I,
going to say buttered pasta.
this is so funny. I only have pasta a lot when I go home to be with my family.
Right.
And I am Italian, so that is,
Hmm.
my dad would probably be upset to hear me say that, but I don't have a lot of pasta at home. I'm very much a chicken, meat, potatoes,
Hmm.
chips and dip, French fry, like that. That's not
Yeah.
healthy. But I
But like,
wanted to. It was like 2 days or a week after. I forget. It was either that weekend or a week later that I, was realizing we were going to be in lockdown for a little while. Like, it wasn't just a 2 week situation, and
that, like, oh,
and
relief that we have a break. Like, no,
yeah,
not at this
it
point,
was
it wasn't a
starting
break.
to. And Andrew Keaton Bolger did a thing where he said, "I'm really stressed out. I'm going to cook a birthday cake,"
Okay.
on his Insta story. So I watched it and I thought, this is so cute. I love this. And then it inspired me to want to do something. So I had always wanted to cook Joanna Gaines's biscuits because I am a huge Chip and Joanna Gaines fan. I'm a huge fan of Fixer Upper. I
Uh-huh.
fixer uppered my whole apartment
You're
because of them.
you're actually holding her book in this
I am
picture.
holding her book and I'm wearing her apron.
Yes.
That's how intense this obsession. No, it's not that bad. But she and I think I had the book. I don't know if I bought it. I think I bought it for Christmas or something. And so I thought, all right, let's do it and let me film it. And people loved it and they responded and they thought it was great. And then I thought, all right, let me keep doing this. And hey, maybe I can cook every single recipe in the book.
I
And now
mean,
it's been a year, and I think I've cooked about 50 recipes from the book, and
and they're
have a
pretty
bunch of
gourmet.
episodes. So,
They're pretty
huh?
gourmet.
Hey, I'm getting there, and
They look
it has
presentable too.
it has inspired me. Like, sometimes I'll come home and I'll be like, I don't have anything, and then I'll
Hmm.
somehow make something incredible because I don't know. You kind of learn how to sort of ingredient or cooking is really just taking ingredients, putting together that sort of will taste good, or taking sugar and putting it on asparagus. You would never actually do that, but if you cook it together, it's actually incredible. Like, things I never thought to do.
Wow.
Yeah, you can make something with vegetables that will feel like you're having a meat dish. Like, there's things that you can do. She's
Yes.
very heavy with her cooking, I will say that, which I've learned. So I wanted to get through the whole book. I don't know if I'm going to get through the whole book, to be honest. I might just start cooking some other different things because it is heavy cooking, and if we're going to be back on Broadway soon, I don't know if I can do that. But no, it's been so fun, and it's been just something I can do for myself. That's not performing, singing, dancing, acting. It's none of that.
Right.
And I learned a lot about video production while doing it, and I learned a lot about social media actually while watching all of these TikToks and Instagrams of people doing cooking shows randomly. So
Hmm.
it's been more than just cooking.
And you also have on your YouTube channel some cooking videos, or is that a separate? That's a separate
On
YouTube
YouTube?
channel.
So on YouTube, I just have music. I have
Oh,
my own Instagram,
oh, is
which
that? Oh, that's the Instagram.
it's
Yep.
just for cooking. I don't put anything up on there that it's just food. It's just
Right.
literally food, and that's it. And if people are interested, they can look at that.
And I mean, so many Broadway actors are either, I feel like, becoming real estate agents, or making their, like Max Kumangai has his own bread company. Charity Angel
Mhm.
Dawson is cooking out there. A bunch of people are. Like you said, Andrew did the birthday cake thing. So yeah, I wonder how all that is going to change, and how we'll look back on that, and look back on the hobbies that we picked up once Broadway,
Yeah,
does
I
come
think
back
it'll
again.
stay. I think you know we're kind of at a point now where I think people have moved on with their lives. They're doing different things, and we love Broadway. We want it to come back, but um, life also moves on. So a
Right.
lot of people have picked new careers. They've picked new things to do. I personally haven't picked anything new. I've just
Well, you've
kept.
been pretty busy.
I'm busy doing what I do,
So
which is singing, dance, and acting, and I'm okay with that for right
yeah.
now. And I do a lot of teaching as well. I teach
Yes, your master classes.
a
Let's talk a
lot
little bit
of
about that.
people. Yeah, so that's how I've kept busy. But I think it's great. I have a bunch of friends that have done real estate, and they're doing well and
Hmm.
thriving. And I had friends that were doing it beforehand. I did real estate for a month in New York City, and I thought this is
Oh.
not for me, but I did it. I did
So
it before I joined the Broadway. It was kind of fun and terrifying.
right. So you do master classes
Mhm.
through what's the website called? It'll be
So
linked.
I teach for a bunch of different companies. I teach for
Right.
Sing for Hope, Broadway Weekends, Broadway
It was
Workshop,
Broadway. It was Broadway
Broadway
workshop.
Classroom. I even teach myself. I have my own students that I teach. So it's pretty yeah, a lot of different companies.
So what do you mainly do? Is it the dancing that you teach a lot of master classes on, all three, the acting, singing, and dancing, or just like the singing master classes?
I teach a lot of dance workshops. A
Okay.
lot of workshops. When I started working for Broadway Weekends, I started teaching singing technique and ensemble singing. So I did that a lot, and then
Oh, that's important.
it's very important. Then I also taught a lot of I have a couple students that I would teach, and I've always taught voice lessons, but I haven't started my own studio or
Hmm.
anything. I've been pretty good working for other companies, but uh, there will be a time when I will be starting my own studio, which I'm very excited about. I've got some plans
Yeah,
for that. So
that's exciting. Any
yeah,
idea of what you'll call it that you can say?
I don't know yet
No.
what I would call it or what it would. I know it'll be, but it'll be exciting. It's going to be a lot of obviously the stuff that I do, and I do a lot of different things, and my
Hmm.
goal is to get people to take everything that they do and do it the best that they can and put it into one thing. Um,
Right.
so that's what I'm going to try to work
There,
on.
there you go.
Yeah.
So now I I am not personally the best at this game, but it's a little game that I like to call Guess the Musical.
Oh
So you're
gosh.
gonna
Okay.
you're gonna have 30 seconds. Um,
Woo!
30 seconds on the clock, and I'm gonna show you a portion of a playbill, and you'll have to shout it out
Oh
as fast as you
my.
can. It's
Oh
easy in
gosh.
the
This is terrifying.
beginning.
I've
It's
said terrifying
easy.
like 50 times in this interview. Okay.
It's pretty easy in the beginning, but then as it goes on, it does get a little bit
All
harder.
right. Okay.
So there was a leaderboard for March, for the month of March, and so you'll be on the April leaderboard. So let's see
Okay.
how this goes. Ready? 30
Okay.
seconds is going up on the clock,
Okay.
and here's your first one.
Wicked. Mean Girls.
You can say pass, by the way.
Oh, Waitress. Beetlejuice. Hamilton. Mormon, Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Jordan Hansen.
Yes.
Come From Away.
Okay.
The Prom.
Okay.
What is that? Yeah.
I have never heard that for Mamma Mia. That's so funny. This is Frozen.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Okay.
really hard. It's like a piece of the snowflake.
Yeah, I literally can't tell what that is. But I got what?
Right.
90%, 99%?
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 9.
I
9
got
out of
10.
you got 9 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 9 out of 14
Oh, okay.
in
All
in
right.
30 seconds. So it's not that bad.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
But so yeah. All your links are gonna be in the description below. So everybody definitely go check it out. Follow the cooking page, follow the TikTok. You're doing TikToks like so much.
I
I
am.
love them. And I forgot to say it. I wanted to mention the Bridgerton cover that you did with
Yeah.
Abigail on TikTok was fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
the way that you were singing it, I'd never heard anybody sing it like that before. Like
Thank
I only heard Antonio. I'm gonna butcher the last name. I'm horrible last name. Cipriano, I think it is.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And he had done it, but he had done it the traditional way that it was supposed to be. And
Yeah.
I have never seen anybody actually choose to go up,
In their
which is what
falsetto. Yeah.
yes, which is what you did.
That's my secret weepon. It's Irish dancing falsetto is my secret weapon. Everybody else can be dramatic and sing oh, and I'm like, here's my falsetto.
Big Broadway belters, and then you come out with your falsetto. But that's a good thing. You change it up a little bit for
Yeah. Do it do it your way.
yeah.
People like it.
Yeah, and that brings the thing back to the covers, how you would do everything in your own way. But we are so excited to see what you have in store. We're excited to see Diana, first of all, because for
Yes.
those of us who couldn't see it, there wasn't even many like Broadway.com performance clips. So
Yeah, they kept it under wraps. But I will say, y'all are gonna be jamming to this music. That's it. You're just gonna be you're not even ready. You're not even ready.
not expected.
It
So
stinks that
Diana,
I can't say more, but you're gonna love it.
no, that's okay. So keep it a surprise.
Yes.
So Diana is set to open May 25th of 2021. So hopefully, let's see if
Hopefully.
that happens. Let's see what they do with that. It seems so far away, but it seems so close. Like I can't. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But thank you so much. All your links will
Thank
be
you.
no problem. All the links will be in the description below. His Instagram, both of his Instagrams, his TikTok, his YouTube, website, everything like that. Go check it out. And a big thank you to you, Nathan, for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This was so fun. All right, y'all.
No problem.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And make sure to tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.
Bye.